And we're live. Welcome back to another episode of the Michael Ellis Show. We are on episode 8 now. And today we've got Bryan Mills. And Bryan Mills is the self-proclaimed king of offers. So how are you doing, Bryan?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you very much for having me on. It's nice to be interviewed rather than being the interviewer. So it's quite a nice little change for me. So I'm excited, mate. I'm excited.
Great. So do you want to quickly tell the viewers about yourself? How you got into this world of business and so on and so forth?
Fucking hell. Right, okay. So you can go as far back as like teenage years. To basically, I was just obsessed with setting something up and trying to make money. To the point like, I tried to monetize like football teams, like knocking around with the lads. I tried to monetize football teams. I tried to create football leagues that I could run, like 6-a-side leagues. And obviously monetize those. It's just been in me. It's like I don't really like answering to anyone, so me and referees definitely don't get on. We really don't get on. So like it's always been a case of I have to work for myself. I have to be the person in charge. My missus like thinks I'm just a control freak, but there's definitely a positive to it. So it goes all the way back, like for a long period now. I'm 29 now. Then I started my first proper business at 19. And it was sports coaching in primary schools. So I was making money, turning over, doing all right. I remember walking in and getting like my first month's paycheck. I was like, Dad, I've been paid. I was like, how much you earning? So I told him. He was like, oh yeah, I earned that this week. I went, what? Yeah, I earned that this week, sat here. I went, right. I was like, show me what you do. And it was actually a corporate job. So I ended up chasing the cash because it was really fucking good cash. And ended up in the rail industry. And I was working in the rail industry or the railroad industry for any Americans here. And it was a case of obviously just built up a bit of cash. And I just started like dipping into my dad's business, not in terms of finances, but in terms of like helping out. Because I was just obsessed with like, how do we get it bigger? How do we make it bigger? How do we make better offers? How do we get people through the door? And I just sort of kept on going. And I got hooked. And I remember my first big break as a businessman was an events company. And I created this events company mainly because I was going to networking events for my dad's company. And the networking events were shocking. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this show, so we'll go with shocking.
You're allowed to swear. It's fine.
Okay, perfect. They were shit. They were absolutely crap. So I decided, well, I can do this better myself. So I did, set it up. And I ran my first black tie dinner. And the stress levels were unbelievable. But I'd done it 3 months before the event. I was minus 10K. So for a guy who's got, how many kids did I have at the time? I had 2 kids at the time. 10K in debt to this business. I was like, shit. And I tried to do it the right way. It's like I didn't want to take on all the work myself, so I outsourced and built a team. But we just weren't getting sales. I was like, fuck. The tables were $2,500 a table of 10. So obviously high ticket sales, like that. I didn't go small. I went big. I was like, right, okay. I was like, fuck. I was like, so I got rid of everyone and kept me tech guy. My tech guy was the only guy who stayed. He was the only guy that I could afford to probably keep. And I'd done it all myself, literally all the high tickets, all the sales, all the lead generation, all the marketing, all the design, everything I'd just done myself. And I turned it around to a point where we actually made 34K and 24K in profit. So I literally turned it around within 3 months. And we done it. We launched, and it was absolutely incredible. But it was stressful. And I was like, I can't do that again. I was like, that was a lot of pressure up front for everyone to buy your tickets last minute. I was like, don't like it. I was like, I enjoyed the experience and I learned shed loads. I was like, it's not scalable. And that was straight away, like, I was already thinking scale. I was like, I can't do that. I was like, I'll burn myself to the ground. I was like, I don't like hustling. I'm not a hustler. I was like, I had to be, so I done it. I was like, but like, I like a battle general, where you sit on the top of the hill watching the battle commence and you're drinking your wine and I'm more that type. So the fact that I had to go in, get dirty, I was like, I could do it because I can talk a game, I can talk to you, I can build relationships, but it's not for me. I don't want to turn grey before I'm 30. I know 3 kids is probably not helping that situation, but the goal was never to be grey before 30. The one thing I enjoyed was marketing. I enjoyed that whole lead generation, that sales, like, and the marketing aspect of how do you get people to click, buy, and that was it then. I went off on that and I just started marketing and marketing for businesses and other businesses, and it just scaled from there then. And I've just not looked back since, and it's been incredible.
Incredible. Yeah, so that's quite a journey that you've been on there. So as you can see from the title here, we're high ticket marketing mastery with yourself. So before we go any further, just for anybody that is unsure what high ticket means, what does high ticket actually mean to you?
So a lot of people have different perceptions. When I was going through the sort of the training, like, and that type of thing, like, high ticket was a 2.5K plus. Anything lower than that, like, is mid ticket up until you get to, I'd say, anything lower than 250, and 250 is low ticket down. That was my perception. Some people like to give it the big balls and go, nah, high ticket's only 10K up. And it's all about perception. Obviously, what do you deem as high ticket? But I would, as a ballpark, I would never go lower than 2,500 as a high ticket offer.
That's interesting. Well, I hear some people go as low as like $500 is high ticket. I wouldn't say $500 is high ticket.
No, I think the way people started to twist it, and when people started to determine it was high ticket, was when a webinar on its own wouldn't do the trick. So if they couldn't buy now from the webinar because they felt like they had to speak to someone, I think that's when people started to turn it into a high ticket thing. So obviously the sort of cut off on average, people go higher, people go lower, depending how good, one, the webinar, and 2, the marketing is. But people don't tend to go really above $1,000 for a webinar without getting on the phone. And then that's where they started to determine like a high ticket. But if you go and get a closer to try and close a high ticket closer to try and close a deal at $1,000, they're probably not going to be interested, which means it's not high ticket enough. Because obviously you've got to filter in your commissions and stuff like that. So high ticket's like 2.5 above.
Yeah, agreed. Especially when you're dealing in the realms of, like you say, bringing up closes, appointment setters, and everything like that. It needs to be of that value for them guys to be interested.
Definitely, and for you to make money, because obviously you'll have to pay obviously your appointment setter one fee, you'll have to pay your closer another, you'll have to pay your software costs, your marketing costs, and all that. So in order for it to actually be worthwhile, it does need to be around that value just to get started, and then that gives you the chance to scale, puts money in your back pocket, gives you room to move, and then you can push on from there. If you're selling something like $500, now a lot of people do it, and a lot of people make good money out of it, but it doesn't give you much wiggle room at all. So that's where building an incredible, irresistible offer is absolutely vital in order for you to scale, because then you can charge a good price and then obviously push forward.
Yeah. So with that, you mentioned software in there. Do you actually need software to start?
A quick answer, no, but it does help. It really does help having software knocking around. Now, people have different softwares and different perceptions for different things. My personals are obviously ClickFunnels. I can't live without ClickFunnels. ActiveCampaign, I'm really starting to, can't live without that either. And then I'm just starting to get more and more softwares. But as a starter, good solid good content marketing, a Google Doc, and Stripe is probably all you need.
Agreed. Facebook account, social media.
Yeah, that's it.
Leverage over people's networks.
100%. Like, obviously, it's nice to have the funnels, and obviously, it definitely helps, because if it's a Google Doc, and then obviously all the back end work is manual. Obviously, like, you've got to start like copying things over and pasting, and then moving all your data around, and obviously, you just create a pile load of button pushing tasks. When in theory, if you've got one trigger action, 90% of your button pushing can be done for you by automation. And that's the place you want to get to.
It certainly is the place where you want to get to. But if you're bootstrapping, you can certainly do it without. So moving on, obviously, you know a lot about automation yourself. What's the first tasks somebody would need to automate in their business?
Ooh, that's good, because it depends on where your workload is. I'd actually say your back end is probably where you need to automate first. A lot of people will go, oh yeah, but organic marketing is quite heavy. But until you nail that, until you get your systems right, or the way you talk to people right, like obviously that type of thing, you get your conversion rates. Because the minute you automate it, your conversion rates will drop a little bit, because people will be able to sense that it's automated, and that obviously then puts a disconnect between you and the prospect. So the first thing you need to do is automate your back end system. So that is where the funnel does come in handy. Obviously, if you build your funnel, obviously all that automation is now captured: email marketing, obviously payment systems, and then the minute you press pay, that means the welcome emails coming on board, obviously linking to your course or whatever, all that's sorted. Obviously all their information's moved to the relevant places. If you're using Stripe, the money will be in your account within 7 to 10 days. And that sort of reduces half of the workload. So getting rid of that just means like you can concentrate on the client then. And that's the priority. And I think we were talking about it on Marketing Mastery talk show the other week about like people just want instant, don't they? So the minute they've clicked pay, they want something straight away. If you've got to then obviously, perfect, I've checked Stripe. Now I can send you a welcome email and onboard you with a Trello board or Slack or whatever. If they don't get something instant, they're like, what's going on? Where's my money? And because we've created this world where everything is now. People want everything right now or yesterday. So people will not wait, especially if they pay high ticket. They will not wait for anything. It's got to be boom, 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 just rolling. And that's where obviously they feel more confidence, and it reduces the opportunity for buyer's remorse.
Is there a figure like where? So you mentioned then, like especially with high ticket, but is there a figure? I would say that it's probably more. It's more expected low ticket, mid ticket, and low end high ticket than it is high end high ticket.
In terms of obviously all the now automations and that type of thing.
Right.
I agree.
When you start getting up to about 20 grand and above, surely it needs to be personalized pretty much in everything you need to do.
I don't know whether I agree with that. Only because if you pay 20 grand and have to wait 2 days, like what happens? Like, say you close the deal, awesome, fantastic.
No. You shouldn't be waiting 2 days. You're right there.
You never know what happens, do you? Like, if you can't, or like, people need that professionalism. They need that wraparound. So if they get like a welcome email going, hey, right, we're going to invite you to our Slack channel so we can improve our internal communications with you and the team. We're going to give you a Trello board. Obviously, that link's going to come. Here's our jot form. You need to fill all this information out so we can onboard you correctly. Here's the breakdown of how the procedure is going to go over the next 20 to 30 days. Having all that automated, obviously, if someone's paid 20 grand, should probably put them a little bit at ease. I agree. If you don't have it a low ticket, people will go, well, where is it? Where is it? Unfortunately, it's two different concepts. I'm going to sound horrible, but I like a low ticket mentality. I've paid $50. Where's my and that's the type of client you do get. And where it's high ticket, so you've got to come from, for your automations at that level, it's got to be to satisfy the neediness, which is, it's horrible to say, but at that level, at the higher level, it's all about the professionalism and putting them at ease. Because if they're paying 20k, you need to give at least 40k's worth of value. You 100% need to wrap yourself and indulge in them. And that is totally cool. But if you don't have those things to wrap around, it's just going to set in straight away. Like the negativity, the doubts, and the minute one doubt's raised, 5 will come, and then 10 will come, and it's hard to come back. So having that procedure in place and that system in place straight away, especially for those high ticket deals, will help you retain those high ticket deals. If you lose 50 quid because something's broken the low end automation, okay, you've lost 50 quid, but it's 10 times better than losing 20 grand.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, someone just popped up on the screen. I couldn't actually see anything.
Oh, this is where I can't get to comment and distract you.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. You
might
don't
get
get to
VA
comment and distract.
just to start distracting you. You can always tell when you're watching, man. It's like you can see my eyes just go to the bottom corner to check the comments. Just a bit of a grin.
Yeah, I can see it all the time. It's hilarious. It is pretty funny. It's half the reason why I tune in.
How many times can I distract Bryan today?
Yeah, definitely. So, why do you think that happens with people? Well, like when they get one doubt in their mind, and then all of a sudden 5 turns up, and 10 turns up, and then more turns up. Why do you think doubt manifests so fast once it started?
Because it's easier to be negative than it is to be positive. Now that sounds like weird. It was like, oh, what? But people look and would naturally gravitated to more negative things, especially in the world that we live in. Like open Sky News, it's just someone's died, someone's been murdered, someone's been stabbed. This is crap. So many deaths. And obviously, yeah, they're all important things. But what people aren't realizing is like that is feeding the energy around you, and you are more, because that's feeding it. You then put out more negative, which means more negative comes back, and it's just that constant loop. So if they find something to be negative about, it triggers things like mad, and you're always natural to think of the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario never, ever, ever happens. It's impossible, but your mind's that bad. It just reverts straight to 20 grand. Right, he's now got me credit card details. He's gonna get 50 grand off me. He's now got this. He's gonna do this. Oh my god, he's not gonna give me what I want, and that can happen just because a welcome email didn't come across, and it's just mind blowing. Okay, thank you. Thanks for paying me 20 grand. I'll see you later. Phone down. It's like, well, where's my shit? Where is it? And then it just escalates from there because we naturally think of the worst and never think of the best.
Yeah. So when you're in business yourself and you're not coming from the customer's perspective, you mentioned the worst case scenario. How much of an importance is it to know what the worst case scenario is when starting your business or scaling your business, and being very comfortable with what could happen to free you up and allow you to have the mindset to go forward? Do you think that's important?
I'm not quite sure whether I understand the question, but I think I'll give it a go. Obviously, to avoid the worst case scenarios like that you've got in your head, it comes down to 2 things: expectations and communications. That is it. If you can set the expectations on the sales call and communicate anything through. So, hey, I said I was going to deliver it on day 5. We've had this hiccup at day 3. I've let you know at day 3. We're probably now going to have to extend by day 7 for this or this reason. And just managing expectations and managing communications allows the worst case scenario to never, ever occur. From a client perspective, back-end and operations is a different thing. But in terms of from the client's perspective on managing the client, because the worst thing you ever want is that 20 grand client, for instance, or 5 or 1, to say, I want my money back. And you're like, fuck, I'm a month in, I've spent so much time, I've done this, I've done that, and now I've got to give him a refund. And that's probably because you didn't either set the expectations or you didn't manage the communication so he was aware or she was aware as you went through. As long as you do those 2 things, the worst case scenario as a business owner is obviously having to give back money after you've paid staff to do stuff, and that puts you in a big hole. Just by managing those 2 things, that will heavily reduce any sort of refunds, which is obviously the worst case scenario from a client perspective.
Understood. So we're just coming up on 20 minutes right now. So, as per yesterday's episode of Marketing Mastery, we're going to cut it off there and we're going to leave it.
Yeah. For those who didn't see
brilliant.
yesterday's episode, obviously from my talk show, was our video coach, or the guy who's coming on to do his podcast. Literally, I don't even know whether he knew at the time, because I don't think he was looking at that part of the screen, but he was saying, right, no one wants to watch anything longer than 20 minutes, and you should probably cut things up like after that. Yeah, that guy didn't. I don't think he realized it was 20 minutes on the clock, and he actually spoke for nearly an hour. So, yeah, 20 minutes according to our video coach. It's over. We're done. We're going.
I just had to get that in. I was waiting for 20 minutes to come up. I'm just waiting for it.
I'm glad you spent that much time prepping that bit.
So, at the beginning, we've had this come round, and we're back. So, at the beginning, I mentioned that you're the self-proclaimed king of offers. Now, I got that from one of your header cover photos where you said the king of irresistible offers, I think it said. And this is going back probably a couple of years ago. I don't know, or a year ago. I was actually searching for a decent photo to nick and chop up and put on as the thumbnail for this program. And sorry, I thought I'd add it to the description at the beginning of this video. But how important is an irresistible offer?
To me, it's the most important thing. And the reason it is so important is if your marketing isn't great, but the people can find your offer, you can still convert. If your the sales team's shite, but your offer's incredible, people will still convert. But if your offer's crap, no marketing and sales can save you. And that is literally the be all and end all. Like if you don't have an offer that people want, people see value in, and people trust to buy, you're screwed. You're literally screwed, because obviously people aren't going to whack out their credit cards with so much noise in the industry and so many people fighting for attention and throwing offers at you. If your offer sucks, just go back to the drawing board. Otherwise, you'll never be able to sort it out.
What are the key points or the key aspects of an irresistible offer in your view, in terms of let's go with coaching and consulting, because that's your area of specialty.
Okay, so the first thing you need to do when identifying an offer is what pain are you trying to solve? That is a huge thing. It's like, what problem are you trying to solve for your clients? Now, from a coaching consultant point of view, a lot of people around the 0 to 10K, 10 to 15K, as a coach, are very much in a hustler's mode. Like the biggest question, the biggest qualifying question I say to a coach is, right, can you take 30 days off and still make money? If the answer is no, you don't have a business, you have a job. So obviously that we dig into the pain straight away. It's like, right, okay, so you need to build a system. If you don't have a system, you can't take those 30 days off and still make cash. Okay, so that is part, right? Okay, so how do we build a system? So that's a big pain point, and we market that pain point. Obviously, we highlight it and obviously identify that is a pain that you need to solve. So right, okay, so we've identified the main point and obviously put the product in to solve that pain point. And so, as we, for example, is this system, and then it's like, right, okay, so what's next? I was like, we've built you a system, and then you start looking, or that's what we're selling, the system. So okay, so you've got befores and afters. You've got problems before and you've got problems after. So now we've built this system for the client. It'll be right, okay, so what's the problems before? Well, how do they market to it? Right, okay, cool. So with it, now thinking, well, it's if from a prospect's point of view, if he was on the sales call, okay, that's great. You're going to build me a system, but I don't know how to market to it. Right, okay, cool. So that's in a bonus. You don't know how to market to it. We're going to teach you how to market. Okay. What's next? Oh, well, once I've got my system, then how do I how do I automate automate the front end or the back end? Okay, cool. Let's give you something that will either help, teach, or do for you. And that you just keep working through that. You solve every problem you can in an offer, any objection you're going to get on a sales call. And this is why your offer will probably improve the more sales calls you have, because as you take note of the objections, you go and find something to handle that objection and you go put that in. So you've got your biggest pain, which is your main focus. Then you've got how do you speed things up? How do you make life easier? And then how do you handle an objection? Or what's the objection? The next objection you'll handle. Those three things become your bonuses. And you obviously value stack that into bonus structure. Whatever value you put on that is completely up to you. But adding those things, then it's like on the sales call, it's like, well, okay, so what's your issue? Well, say we built a system, for example. You're like, well, I'm not a really good closer. Okay, not a problem. We'll now give you commission-only closers as part of the package. Okay, and now what's your problem? Well, how do I make my offer more valuable so I can pay this commission-only closer? Right, okay, cool. So we'll give you the irresistible offer masterclass plus a couple of one-on-ones to build your offer. Okay, now what's your problem? And you literally just stop them at every point. And you can only do that by obviously working with your clients and going through those sales calls and obviously building up those objection lists. And then you plug in something that stops them. And it's like, okay, now it's right. Price? Is price your objection now? Yeah, well, I can't really afford it right now. Well, okay, let's have a look at what you can afford. Because at the end of the day, do you want to carry on hustling? Because what's going to come first? Like, are you going to hustle until you're dead? Or are you going to build a system and you're free? Pick one. And it's literally, if you carry on hustling 24/7, like most coaches do, they're just going to get burnt out or fed up. And that is the problem with some of the gurus' ways of teaching at the moment. Is it's very hustle driven, which means it takes up a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of mental capacity. People end up just veering off because it's not sustainable. So either hustle till you're dead or buy this system and we'll get you a free life. Pick one. Then the money becomes irrelevant because the time is so much more important. It's the one thing they can't buy back. Now, who's frozen? Always good. Are you there, mate? Oh, right. Okay, cool. So it looks like Mike's experienced some technical difficulties. Is he back
Bryan,
on?
can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah. Cool. You okay?
Ooh. Wow. It's very jumpy. Very jumpy.
Yeah, seems it, doesn't it? You okay? Go stand next to your router. Go stand next to your broadband. Oh, can't hear.
That's what I think I'm about going to do right now. I usually don't have a problem with it, but clearly today I do have a problem. I wonder why. Do you mind just speaking for a brief minute over some things?
Yeah, cool. No worries. So when you release a podcast and when you obviously go into this scenario where it's video content, if you are doing a live, guys, make sure that your systems are set up. It looks like Mike's working off his phone. Obviously, it can interfere with loads of different things. So from an instance, maybe get yourself your laptop plugged in directly to your router so your internet doesn't drop out, because obviously your internet cannot drop out at this point. Obviously, or you end up in this situation. So obviously always make sure that is done, prepped and tested. Obviously I know Mike said he's never had these issues before, but obviously they can still service. So obviously always make sure your connections, your lives, everything's been tested and you are good to go at this point. This feels obviously incredible because I am making stuff up as I go. But obviously going back to that irresistible offer and having that set up and always making sure your offer literally is just getting rid of objections. So however you package that up, you don't really want to put on more than 3 bonuses, maybe 3 or 4, because then it just looks like quite long. So what I'd do is, from that point of view, I'd bundle. So if you've got 3 or 4 things that help with either marketing or scripts, for example, like scripts, we could then obviously bundle that up into one bonus and obviously then put your value on that bonus. So what we're doing, Mike, is we're just going through, if you can hear me, we're just going through what happens if you've got a load of bonuses. So obviously then we start to look at bundling them up. So it doesn't look like you've just got a rake of bonuses, which you have, but if you bundle them up and describe the bundle, it's less overwhelming for that person. Because obviously it's great that they see, oh yeah, I'm going to get all this and this, but then the negative mindset is like, shit, how am I going to get through all that? How am I going to get through all these scripts and all these automations? And so if you bundle these things up, it's like 3 manageable things that handle all their objections. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, I don't feel overwhelmed, because people naturally look for excuses not to do something because it keeps them in the comfort zone. So you've got to be able to bundle things up and structure things so it's like you don't really have an excuse anymore. Just get off your ass and do it because your pain is there and you want to obviously achieve this result. You're just looking for any reason to sit on your ass and watch Netflix.
Did you see my post the other day about Netflix?
Yeah, I think I remember seeing part of the headline or the middle set, the bit where it said Netflix. I was like, I think I read it, but not all the way.
Not all the way, no. It was quite polarizing. I did some swearing in it, but yeah, not exactly on the same level of what you've just said there, but it was to do with the fact that people don't have an attention span of a goldfish, because they can quite happily sit there and watch films.
I do remember that bit, yeah,
all day long and binge watch series. So you can't tell me people have got attention spans of goldfishes. Clearly proving that they don't.
Yeah, my missus is downstairs probably watching the series now.
Ours is on nearly 24/7 up on wall. It's bad. But ours don't receive the attention, I don't think. Not the way that I put it anyway. Ours is more background noise.
Yeah, I seen that yesterday. I was watching something and Casey asked me to put on, and every time I looked at it, she was on her phone. I was like, so what is it? Are you watching telly or are you on your phone? I was like, pick one. And I think that's what it is.
It does my head in.
Yeah, it's like so that's why
our TV's on. Yeah, that's the reason why our TV's on 24/7. She's sat there with phone around. She's always on her phone whilst the TV on, and I'm like, how can you watch anything? How do you take any of that in? I can do 2 things at the same time. I'm like, no, you can't. You're just lying to yourself saying you can.
That's what people think, because like they can do 2 things at once, but at what productivity cost is that? So like the way I've seen it described is obviously it's like a pie chart, and it's like, right, okay, so that's you doing one thing, right? Okay, now put 2 things in, right? Well, you're only doing it 50% good. Right, okay, now put 4 things in. Now you're only doing each one 25% worth of your productivity and 25% of your value. Therefore, it's not really worth doing. So yeah, 2 things at once doesn't really work.
Yeah. No, I don't. No, 2 things at once, 3 things at once, 4 things at once. However many things that you think you can do at once. That's just you keeping yourself busy, really. and pretending that you are doing something meaningful whilst avoiding the actual thing that you need to do.
Yeah, and just because you're busy doesn't mean you're productive.
No, not at all. Not at all. So it is 1:30 in the afternoon, and my daughter has just woken up.
Just woken up?
Yeah.
Whoa, you're having me on.
I'm not. Seriously not having you on. 1:30, she's just woken up.
Oh dear, how old is she?
She's 7.
7? I'd expect that from a teenager. No way. Oh my God. What time did you put her to bed?
I know. She went upstairs to bed at around about 9 o'clock last night, but she didn't go to sleep until at least 3:30 because she went back downstairs at 3:30.
Fuck it. Yeah, so you're in for an interesting night, aren't you?
There's the house.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, definitely. So, you have a free training available, all based around creating irresistible offers. Do you want to let us know about that?
Yeah, so the plan is to do this free training, I think, once a month. We were going to do it twice a month, but I'm just too busy. So, sorry. So it's once a month. We're going to do a live masterclass on building irresistible offers. And it takes you through that whole journey, similar to what we've described, but in more detail. And what we aim for you to do is by the end of that hour, you can build an irresistible offer that you can go and sell, or you can improve the offer you've already got. Okay, because obviously a lot of online coaches and consultants, which are my target audience, are very much, they're competing against the same type of thing, whether it's a membership program, whether it is a one-to-one consultant, they're competing against the same stuff. So it's how do you step out and build up your offer so their offer becomes irrelevant. And when you get to that stage, obviously you'll be able to make money left, right, and center. So we host a masterclass once a month inside our group, which is online marketing, traffic, and sales for entrepreneurs. I might actually shorten that because it's just a little bit too long. But at the moment, that's what it's called, and that's where the masterclasses are happening. There is also tech trainings in there as well. So I do try and jump in every Thursday, do a tech training. I think we covered how to improve your sales funnel the other week, and obviously all the technical stuff that actually goes with that people forget about, and it makes your funnel look 10 times worse, but they're quite easy fixes. So we go in there quite a lot to give as much value as possible inside that group. But yeah, the main core is that irresistible offer masterclass, which is once a month, and we will be doing one in February. January got bypassed, so we will be doing one in February. So if you need to register for that, by the looks of it, Mike has created a link in the stream. So if you go to there and get yourself registered for that, that'd be great. And then obviously we can help you build your irresistible offer and start selling your high ticket deals.
So yeah, guys, if you visit michaelellisonline.com/go/Mills offer, that will send you straight over to his website where you can register, and you will be notified when the next event is happening, when the next live workshop is happening. It's a fantastic workshop. I attended the last one. It was great. It was fun. It's always a laugh being on Bryan's videos anyway. But yeah, inside his group, like you said, if you can't remember the name of the group, that's fine. It's on the thank you page of this registration anyway. Yeah. So head yourself over to michaelellisonline.com/go/Mills offer and register for that event. And is the guy that's going to help you sort out your irresistible offer, guys. He is the guy that's going to help you sort that out for your coaching or consulting business. Do you do any other industries, or are you solely concentrated on coaching and consulting?
People ask me this all the time. To be fair, it's like, what industries do you work in? So we've done some affiliate. We've helped some affiliate marketers out with their stuff. Obviously, my background's actually originally rail, so obviously I've helped rail clients out. So obviously I'm more versed. And I've had marketing agencies as well. Marketing agencies have come to me and obviously helped build out their offers. But yeah, the core is coaches and consultants. But obviously, if you do need help with your irresistible offer, obviously come and have a chat. Obviously, I'm more than welcome to have a chat and see where we can point you in the right direction. I'm never going to turn a conversation away, and obviously we'll see what we can do to help you out.
That's fantastic. Well, it's been fantastic having you on the show again, even though the last one didn't get released, but, never mind. It's been fantastic having you on. It's been a laugh. It's been brilliant. And yeah, guys, just go check his stuff out, because you'll be blown away by the content that it provides inside that Facebook group. And if you want to search him up on Facebook, it's just Bryan Mills. Look for his beautiful face. You'll find it. And add him as a friend, because he puts some great content out on his profile too as well. So that's it for today. And we'll be back at you tomorrow with another live stream for episode, I'm going to say episode 9, but it's not. Tomorrow it will be episode 10, because there's a secret one coming out later on today. So yeah, tune in for episode 10 tomorrow. And